What's up, Scyushi Squad? We back in some more Trove, and today we're going to be talking about the Pirate Captain. I have to re-record this video because reasons. Well, you guys don't care. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about the Pirate Captain, and more specifically, the changes that ended up happening with the character, and then we're going to end up hopping into U10, dealing with Geode Surface, and so on and so forth. We're not going to get into too much detail for all of the, patch notes with the Shadow Hunter update. Excuse me, give me a sec to clear my throat. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. So, for those of you that don't know, the Shadow Hunter rework update called the Shadowy Spotlight ended up hitting on PC like over a month ago now. You guys still haven't gotten it on console, but that doesn't mean that today's video is irrelevant to you. This is something to look forward to if you're a Pirate Captain main and you've realized Pirate Captain is not all it's cracked up to be. Well, after this update, Pirate Captain has had a significant boost to its power. And I've already tested it out, but we're going to end up doing it again today. The changes are really substantial. They're really good. It's not going to end up being as big of a change as, say, Boomerang or Candy Barb. I would say that those classes are a big highlight with this update, just because they went from 0 to hero. But Pirate Captain has always technically been viable, but now it's at the point where it's just so much more so, right? Now, there's a couple different ways that you're going to end up using Pirate Captain. For speed farming and stuff, one of the turrets, or one of the training dummies, I guess got destroyed or something. Weird. So for speed farming and stuff, it doesn't really matter too much. Pirate Captain is not going to be super impressive with that, but we'll get into all of that. The biggest changes that ended up happening is our little turret here, which you can see is a little bit broken in our club world. See how slow it's shooting? That's how slow it normally shot before this update. But now, if we fully upgrade it with its doubloons, it shoots significantly faster, which means that when you have two of them down because of your class trim ability, you're essentially going to be dealing a lot more, there's a lot more outgoing damage just because of those turrets, but there's a couple other changes as well. So basic attack was boosted by 50%. The first mate basic attack has also been increased by 100%, and including the attack speed increase. And then the pretend pirate AoE attack is going to end up being increased by 100%, and then Man of War also had its damage increased by 50%. Now, the base numbers of all of those values, you don't need to know about it. We'll get into that when we have the video talking about how you're gonna build the Pirate Captain. But for today, it's most of all just a quick get to the point. Let's do it, try it out, show what the class is capable of in U10. And then show what it's capable of in the Delves, which I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised. Well, let me also hide and go to D&D. Oh, geez, sorry. It's the first recording of the day for me, so I got all this congestion. So let's make sure that we have everything all set up. I don't want to be using this mount. I actually want to be using Gonda, just because it's going to end up helping me out a lot. For speed farming, we're basically just going to be using Knight subclass ability for the movement speed. But if we wanted raw damage, we would end up using Lunacy, and we'll kind of change things up ever so slightly when we end up going into the Delves. Otherwise, let me start the timer and let's get to it. So Pirate Captain is at this point right now where I wouldn't really Pirate Captain is at a point the same as the Shadow Hunter right now, not in terms of it being a god in terms of damage, but Pirate Captain is one of those characters that you can fully... This dungeon set... Whoa, geez, a lag, of course. I should have known. We're doing a 35k video. Pirate Captain's at that point right now where you can main it, for any category. It's not going to end up being phenomenal, especially when it comes to doing, dungeon farming and stuff. It's not going to happen. As you can see, the damage output just isn't quick enough. Unfortunately, I got this guy following me around, but I'll try and see if I can deal with it. Because most of all, it's because of our little turrets and everything like that. You can see they're just, frankly speaking, not very they're not very good at managing groups of enemies. Pirate Captain just isn't. All we can really do is throw down our turret, throw down our training dummy, and then just hope for the best. Now, of course, when the training dummy exploded right there, you saw we get tons and tons of damage, and then on top of the damage that we end up getting from being able to have that explode, it also means that we're going to end up... I'm trying to trick this guy with psychological warfare. He thinks I'm going to the other dungeon. Because today's video is focusing on the Pirate Captain, which is why I want to do this all solo for you guys. So a Kill 30 enemy dungeon, for example, we would basically, similar to the Shadow Hunter, just keep throwing down our trap over and over, and you can see it just destroys all of them. So, excuse me, that is definitely the way that you would manage the group. Here, I'm going to trick him again into thinking that I'm going that way, but I'm not, because I need to do these dungeons alone. I think he's trying to follow me again. Yeah, he is. Well, anyways. Whoops, I don't even have bombs on my hotbar, dude. I knew there was something that I didn't have prepared. But for kill 30 enemies or just, you know, weaker enemies, that's going to be perfectly manageable on Pirate Captain. For destroying, like, actual 5-star dungeons and big boy bosses and stuff, you can see where Pirate Captain is going to be a little bit lacking, versus other characters. Not to say that it's, like, undoable, because that's kind of the big point that I want to get at with today's video, is that, like I said, you can main Pirate Captain and it'll cover all categories. It's not like it's going to end up doing any category particularly well, but generally speaking, it is going to end up, I'm tricking him again, generally speaking, it's going to end up just being able to do everything. You know, sorry, my brain is like having a brain fart right now, but even with our base shot, you can see we can just destroy the bosses, which, I mean, generally speaking, another class might be able to destroy a boss a little bit better, but let's see what happens if we end up actually using our ult, or more particularly, if I end up using a flask and actually getting my arcane to trigger. So first of all, if I use my ult, it takes a little while for it to start shooting, but it can two-shot bosses, which is great. So what I would need to actually do, yeah, okay, I do actually have Puck as my ally, despite the fact that it's visually showing Avier, because you want to end up having that cooldown reduction for dealing with dungeons and enemies and so on and so forth, right? So, I don't know. I mean, I guess, sorry, I'm just blah today. I don't know why. Let's see what we can end up doing. So what happens if we end up throwing down our turret? See, our turret ends up compensating on a strong enemy, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is, in terms of speed farming, there's two main things that you have to consider, which is how fast can you end up traveling from one dungeon to another, and then what is your kill time. So Pirate Captain doesn't end up traveling from one dungeon to another particularly well, and it also doesn't have very good kill time. So my point that I'm trying to get at is, you're not going to end up using the Pirate Captain in terms of speed farming. But if you absolutely love the Pirate Captain and want to have it as your main regardless, I'm saying that it's capable, okay? That's the point that I'm trying to get across, and I don't know why it was so difficult for me to end up explaining that. But yeah, anyways, we're going to this 5-star dungeon, which this other guy is already doing, so not really the best example. I mean, obviously, you know, in a real world example, we would be playing, you know, there would be other players around, but generally speaking, I just like to have, I like to show damage comparisons of just the Pirate Captain on its own, rather than having other people around. But that's okay, because frankly speaking, after we complete this 5-star, we're going to end up already being done with the U10 portion of this video, and we can end up easily just swapping over into the Delves. So let me get that all set up for you guys and squared away. So I guess I'll take Lunacy, just because I want to be able to show you guys, like, the amount of damage that Pirate Captain can do, because Pirate is at that point where it really, like, this is where you're going to see it shine. What is this? Inflammatory Ivy wall trophy? I have never seen that in my entire life. Interesting. But we're going to be doing depth 129, because it's kind of the prime example, excuse me, of these 35k series. I like to have like just a steady, okay, here's where every class is going to end up being compared at depth 129, because it's going to end up being fairly difficult. Obviously this is an end game example of the character, but it gives us a good idea of being able to tell just how capable a class can end up being in the delves. So the biggest argument that a lot of people always try to make is about you know, in these videos, whenever I'm talking about how, oh, you know, why am I doing this all solo? It seems like that guy's got resistance. Why am I doing this dungeon solo? Well, if we end up doing this solo and finding that the Pirate Captain is perfectly capable, then that means that the Pirate Captain is also just going to end up working out if we end up using it in a group as well. So that's kind of the main thing that I try to get across with these videos, is just to share that experience with you guys and let you know whether or not the class is going to end up being able to handle the delves effectively or is reliant on a group. Like Chloromancer, for example, I'd say is terrible in terms of just normal delve farming, at least solo. But if you end up having a group, then it means all you had to do was focus on putting down all of your plants and stuff. Just as a little example. But you can see that Pirate Captain has the damage. Okay, we can handle this no problem. Obviously, with Lunacy mode, it's making it way, way better. But my God, like the amount of damage that Pirate Captain outputs now is just astonishing. Like it's really, really good. He can handle groups of enemies. Let's also, you know what? These guys got magic resistance. Let's see whether or not we can handle them if we go all out. Yes, we most definitely can. So once again, even in the odd chance that you have to deal with enemies like that, you'll be able to handle them. And arguably, I am going through a lot of my flasks really, really quickly, but that's because I already know that Pirate Captain can handle this, and so I can be a little bit more aggressive than I am, or than I would be with other classes that might struggle. So most of all, it's just because we've got our little taunting statues or whatever, the little taunting guys. They'll end up taking aggro from the enemies, so that gives me the you know, way more survivability, because delves basically gets broken down into survivability plus damage. So you need to be able to either deal so much damage that you can get through the delve faster than the enemies can damage or kill you. Excuse me. Or you have to have enough survivability to compensate because you don't have the damage. And Pirate Captain kind of has a little bit of both. I wouldn't necessarily say that the Pirate Captain has survivability in terms of, like, it's not like a tanky class or anything like that, but our little taunting statues being a thing, you know, really, really helps out in terms of just keeping us alive, because it means that we can have the enemies all focused on something other than us. And yeah, now unfortunately you can see going through the delve, if I have lunacy, means that my mount movement speed is it's just terrible. I'm not used to having mount movement speed without a knight subclass ability. But anyways, let me just get on over here to the boss. So now that we're actually at the boss, I can explain to you guys how you're essentially going to end up using Pirate Captain to melt bosses. Okay, Pirate Captain can be used on Leviathans. It can. It's not really going to end up being super duper recommended, Expialidocious or anything like that. But generally speaking, what Pirate Captain can shine at, and this is something that has always been the case, is when we're spamming our flasks, we can actually end up using our ult multiple times, so long as we end up reducing the cooldown quick enough. And so what a lot of people would do, this is a really old school strategy that people would end up using Pirate Captain in Shadow Towers, for example, to deal some of the highest damage in the game. Sorry about that. The congestion is real today. But anyways, Pirate Captain would be able to put down multiple of its ultimate ability, and that would just slowly add up more and more damage. So we're going to attempt to do that right now. I'm not 100% best at this or anything like that, but basically we get all of our turrets down, throw down our ult, all of our turrets down, throw down our ult. But I do gotta kind of be a little bit careful with the turrets. You can see that we've got 3 of them out at a time. The damage is not super duper devastating. I think that this boss ended up generating with some resistances, unfortunately. We can only do that for a little bit though, because obviously we're going to end up draining all of our flasks really, really quickly. But, oh, it's got the... Yeah, okay. So this boss is really, really tanky because it has the regeneration. So as I do damage to it, it regenerates a little bit of health, which essentially means that I'm not doing like a decent enough amount of damage, because when I'm hitting it, it's almost like I'm hitting it for a certain percentage of damage rather than like it's like it has a resistance basically. But that's a prime example to show you just how squeaky clean we can end up doing it when we're using Pirate Captain. Absolutely devastating class right now. Really, really happy with where it stands. I think that Pirate Captains are going to be really, really happy about it. And yeah, I'll end up having another video come out over the following days talking about how you're going to build the Pirate Captain, but just the quick and easy route for you guys that, you know, already know your stuff is you're just going to end up building it towards DPS. That's kind of the standard to it. The only thing that would end up really necessarily changing is your Crystal Ring, which honestly speaking, all hands on deck and a Vast Yi are going to end up being really, really good. I think it's a Vast Yi that's the really like the essential one that's like slightly better, but I don't know. I'll talk about that when we end up getting into the build video. But as for today, today. That's going to do it. Thanks so much for watching. Smash like, sub for more. Buy the merch you want to support the channel. And have yourselves a wonderful day, ladies and gentlemen.